What's up, everyone? Justin here. This is gonna be a fun one. Really fun to talk about. So much fun. I might, after this, I might have to go bash my head in. It's gonna be so fun to talk about. What am I talking about? Let's talk about and do a movie review. Let's talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not the original. Not the OG. Not part two. Which I like part two. Part two had a lot of dark humor, dark comedy. I thought part two was good. I enjoyed it. I liked Stretch. She was damn good in it. I like part two. Part three, not so much. I watched it a while ago. Probably over 5 years ago. I don't even remember it. I probably blocked it out of my head. Part three, not very good. But the director, I'm not talking about part three here, but let's talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. Good Lord, it's bad. It is so bad. It's a mess of a movie. It's god-awful. It's horrible. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I don't know what else to say about it. It fucking sucks. I did not like it. It's probably the worst. It's probably the worst horror movie I've ever seen. Almost. It's not even like horror. It's not scary. It's not good. The gore and the blood is not even good. And there's barely any blood or gore. Anyways, the special effects, there's like no special effects. It's not a good movie. It's a piece of garbage, a piece of trash. Good God. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a franchise. They've made a lot of sequels and a lot of updated stories or sequels to it. I mean, in 2003, they came out with a remake. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Jessica Biel was really good in it. And it was good. It had a lot of gore, a lot of blood, unlike the original, had no blood. And God, I'll talk about the original someday. Let's talk about it. The original is great. One of my favorite horror movies. It doesn't even feel like a movie. It feels like it's fucking real life, and it's like a documentary, like you're following around these crazy people and young people. So, good God. Let's talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. Again, it's a piece of shit movie. I watched it yesterday, Monday. Today's Tuesday, but doesn't matter what date it is. You could be watching this in a year from now. Who knows? But my point on part three, it was not good. Part three was not good, but I'm sure it's better than Next Generation. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation is worse. It's the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre of the franchise. I hated it. It was just, a lot of it was just fucking stupid all over the place. It had like no jump scares, nothing. Nothing good about it except one thing. Actually, it wasn't. I wouldn't even, one part of it was good, I'll say. A certain actress, she tried her best. I think she tried hard. Renee Zellweger tried hard. She did. I give her credit. She busted her ass to try to make a piece of shit, try to make it okay and good. But it wasn't good, even though Even though her performance, I think she tried hard. I watched a mini documentary about, well, part 3. The director said it kept getting cut up by the ratings board, and couldn't get a rated R rating. It kept getting cut up and butchered. The ratings board said you gotta edit it, get rid of stuff. A lot of gory, bloody scenes, I guess. But the director for part 3 was like, okay, you edited my movie so much. It was bad. It was a piece of shit because they kept editing it down to get it to be a rated R rating. And part 3, Chainsaw Massacre, was, I guess, bought, put out, distributed by New Line Cinema, the same company that had Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, New Line Cinema. I think Friday the 13th was Paramount Pictures or somebody, who cares. New Line Cinema had the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. They wanted to put it out right away. The director said it's not done, it's not finished, but New Line didn't care. They butchered the movie. The director said he hated it. It wasn't his movie, and he wanted his name off of the movie. But they wouldn't take his name off the movie as a director. They refused to take his name off, so he had to keep his name on the movie. But he hated it. He fucking hated part 3. The director for part 3 hated it and what they did to the movie. But let's stop talking about part 3. And then, God, this was part 4, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. This was actually part 4. Let me show you something here. Here's a poster to the movie. It looks like a good poster, but the movie was a piece of shit. There's a poster. See Leatherface down there, Renee Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey. And what do you know? When this movie came out, they were becoming big stars. I think it was released. I'm going to find that out, but they wanted to hold off the release until after Jerry Maguire. Renee Zellweger was a big star from Jerry Maguire. She had a great performance in it with Tom Cruise. So, yeah, I don't know if this was her first movie, Renee Zellweger, but she's a working actress. So, I guess she just would take any job she could get. I don't know. But the guy that was a producer or writer for the original, Kim Hickle or Kim somebody, he directed Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation, and he was not a good director. He shouldn't have directed it. It was not a good movie. God, there's another one. They put out The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've never seen that, but they put that out also. What year was that? The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But never mind. They didn't put it out. The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the original title for the movie. And all these movies that were sequels that had the name The Return, you should leave them in the 80s. Because that's when they came out. A lot of the Return movies came out in the 80s. But this was 1995. And they claim, so it was not The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was released as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. What the fuck kind of name is that? What is this, Star Trek? The Next Generation? What the fuck? Where'd they get that name from? It's a title. They were watching an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation. They thought, oh, let's take that name and title. That's a good idea, dumb fucks. Good Lord. And the movie was written by the director, Kim. Again, he wasn't good at writing a movie at all. It was a mess. It was all over the place. The release date was March 12th, 95. And Good Guy is a flop. Maybe it was released September 22nd of 95. I'm not sure. I don't care, really. But I'm trying to give you facts. Movie's a piece of shit. I don't care when it was put out. It would suck in any era, any year. It would still suck. God, the story's just, the plot is basic as hell and just absolutely not scary, not original, no jump scares. In one part, you just copied from the original. You put one of the girls that went to the prom, she's supposed to be a teenager, and all these teenagers going to the prom, I guess they're in high school, they're teenagers. Well, they all look about 28 years old or 30. Even Renee Zellweger, she doesn't look like a damn teenager in the movie. She looks like she's been through about 3 different lives. She looks about 25 years old, yeah, she doesn't look like a damn teenager. She looked very homely looking. All the teenagers looked kind of homely to me, but it was based in Texas, the prom of their high school. So they come out of the prom, they start driving, they get lost in the damn woods, lost on a road, a one-way road. They don't know where the hell to go to get out of it. And some idiot, another teenager, I guess, hits them with their car, takes their car off the road. Their car is broken. They can't move. So they start walking through the fucking woods in Texas. Right near. What do you know? There's the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. They they absolutely just find it out of nowhere in the woods. And they find it. They run into it. That was odd. That was stupid. It was like, oh, there's the original house. It's still there, and they got lights on in it and electricity, and this is about 20 years later. 20 years later. And they are still living in that fucking shithole of a house with electricity somehow. Somebody from the family, I guess, the Leatherface family clan, somebody's paying the fucking bills to the electric company somehow. Again, it's made no sense. 20 years later, they're still fucking living there and surviving. What else? Well, I'll get to how Leatherface acted and looked. He sucked. Whoever the actor was, he was horrible at it. I didn't like him as a Leatherface, how he played him. It was not good. Stand by, the best Leatherface was the original. Gunnar Hansen. This is funny. Let me read this. This is an AI review about the movie. Or AI overview of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. It's considered a divisive film within the franchise, often seen as converted or cheap, whatever that word is. I'm not good at grammar, folks, but I try. It looks cheap looking. A cheap looking slasher, AI overview says. And I agree, it does look cheap as hell. The teenagers look like dirty. Seriously, they don't look good. None of the teenagers. Renee Zellweger looked okay, but again, she didn't look like she's in damn high school. A divisive film. More like a piece of shit. The worst of the franchise, in my opinion. It's definitely cheap looking. I agree with you there. It is cheap looking. It's a cheap looking slasher that doesn't live up to the original's legacy. No shit. Stevie Wonder could see this movie was not as good as the original. Or part two. Part two killed it. Blew it out of the water. While it features the early career of Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, their performance is not well served by the film's plot. I agree. Renee tried. She did. She tried. But her performance was not good enough to make the film a success. And my God, she had to be put through a lot of shit. I saw behind the scenes on this movie. I saw behind the scenes feature. And Renee Zellweger was all beat up. She had bruises, cuts on her body. I guess she did her own stunts or from her running through the fucking woods and dirt. And again, after the car accident in the beginning, when they get hit with another car in the woods, like, where the fuck were her shoes? That was weird. I guess she got rid of her shoes and left them in the car or some shit, because she was barefoot the whole fucking movie. That was weird. How did she get barefoot? And why would you want to walk through the woods barefoot? That would hurt. But seriously, she was running through dirt in the woods and a lot of the whole movie about. She's barefoot. But behind the scenes on this movie, she was all beat up. She had band-aids all over her, bandages all over her knees. And somebody, I think it was the director or someone, said Renee Zellweger was a big trooper in the filming. She took a lot of abuse, and she was beat up. But again, her performance was not great. It was just better than everybody else. Matthew McConaughey was an idiot. He acted like a maniac and a dumbass. And I will say one thing to defend Matthew McConaughey. Renee Zellweger, I think, ended up suing, or they didn't want this movie put out because they were already becoming stars. I don't blame them. One bit. I don't blame them. If I was them, I'd be embarrassed. I ever did the movie, I would still be embarrassed in 2025 that I did that piece of shit movie, but they were young. They needed the money, I guess. They wanted to work. They wanted to be in a feature film. I don't know if it's both their first movies, but Matthew McConaughey was in Dazed and Confused in 93. So I think he did that movie way before this was shot. Again, it's AI says their performances are not served by the film's plot, which introduces a new, somewhat confusing twist about a secret society and spiritual experience through terror. I hated that part of it. That was so fucking stupid. That was so stupid. That was just stupid. And I was confused. A secret group of people that want to kidnap teenagers and give them to Leatherface to torture. What the fuck? That was a stupid ass plot. To me, I was confused. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And some lady in a little office is like a businesswoman in a suit near the beginning of the movie, And then she just flashes some car going by. For some reason, she picks up her top and flashes. And good guy. And then she ends up turning, the businesswoman turns on Renee Zellweger for some reason and is working with fucking Leatherface's family. I was confused by this point. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This businesswoman turns on Renee Zellweger. I don't remember the character, her name. Who cares? But good God. Oh my God, it's bad, man. It was a horrible movie. God awful. God awful. So, let's see here. So this was bought by Columbia TriStar Pictures, acquired distributing rights for theaters and home video. There's a lot of info about this movie. Again, it was released September 22nd, 95. The budget somehow was $600,000. How? This movie looked like it was made for about $60,000 or less. This looked worse than the original. Seriously, the original was made a lot better with a lot less money. I think Tobe Hooper made the original for $80,000, $90,000 or something. Very cheap. But the budget is $600,000. That's a lot of fucking money for 95. The box office didn't make a profit. Shocker. It failed. It was a flop. Again, I'm not shocked. It was a flop. And I heard in the behind the scenes on this movie, it was only put out in 10 theaters. It was only released in 10 theaters, I guess. I don't know if that was because of legal problems or what. Or if Renee Zellweger got sued and Matthew McConaughey sued. I wouldn't blame them. They didn't want this movie to be seen because it's an embarrassment. It's horrible. It's an abortion of a movie. It sucks. God, I'm actually angry. Actually, I like AMC Plus, which I pay for every month. AMC Plus, I would like you to give me $4 to $5 back for watching it on your service. It's on AMC Plus. That's where I found it. Before it was put on AMC Plus, you couldn't find this movie like anywhere. I was never put on streaming services, probably because no streaming service fucking cared to get it or pay the rights to get it because it absolutely sucks. I know you could buy it on DVD, but who would do that? And I want my $5 to $10 back for watching it AMC Plus. But actually, if it wasn't on AMC Plus, I couldn't do a Let's Talk About it. If AMC Plus didn't put it on there. Box office. Again, the budget, $600,000. The box office was $185,898. Good job. Your movie sucked and flopped and didn't make a profit because it was a piece of shit. And if I was Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, again, I would have sued. I would have been like, I don't want the movie released, let's sue. But it got released, but not only in 10 theaters. So yeah, Renee Zellweger's character is Jenny. The rest of the people, who cares? Matthew McConaughey was Vilmer. Robert Jacks was Leatherface. Again, he sucked. He didn't do good, in my opinion. And during the behind the scenes of this movie, what I saw, Leatherface was trying to do a scene, and he's telling the director or somebody on the movie, he's like, my mask keeps falling off. So this movie was a mess. It was a nightmare for everybody. Leatherface said his fucking mask wouldn't even stay on. And then he was like, I'm trying to do a scene and it's falling off. Then I don't know, somebody said something to him like, well, pick it up and hold it up there. And he was like, I can't. We're filming the scene and it's falling off. Good God. God, the movie's just, it's horrible, man. So during part of the movie, and God, I felt so bad for Renee Zellweger. I really felt bad for her watching this. I was like, good God, this movie sucks. And I just felt bad for her. Because she had to carry the movie. And Matthew McConaughey he didn't do much. He just acted like a psycho. He didn't carry the movie. He was an idiot. He was a maniac. Renee Zellweger had to try to carry the film. Be the final girl. Well, it still failed. And not her fault. She was put in a piece of shit that had a bad fucking script. Bad writing, bad plot, bad everything. One point, Leatherface was dressed as a woman in like lingerie. I was confused. I was like, what the fuck? Why is he a cross-dresser? Why is he dressed as a woman? That he wasn't dressed as a woman in the original at all, or part 2. So I didn't get that. Or that was embarrassing to see Leatherface dressed as a woman. And that was dumb. That was embarrassing for the character Leatherface. That was not a good look. Not a good decision. That he was a cross-dresser, I guess. Who the fuck's idea was that? And maybe the history of Leatherface, I guess, I don't know, they took it from the real life guy Ed Gein in Wisconsin. Actually, he did this crap in my state. He was a maniac. I don't know what is with my state and absolutely maniac mass murderers. Got Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer. Good God. But Ed Gein, I think, saved his mother's corpse, but I don't think he's dressing like a woman. Maybe he was, I don't know, in his mother's clothes. I don't know. But maybe that's part of the history of Leatherface, a character that he dressed as a woman or cross-dresser. I don't remember that. So now let's get to the stupid. Oh, this was a good flashback. This was cool. This was the only cool part of the whole movie. Marilyn Burns, the original final girl from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Marilyn Burns appears in a cameo as a patient on the stretcher going by near the end. So she was in there. I don't know why she agreed. She must have needed a payday. So, God, the secret society subplot was shit. That had no business in the movie. That made it lame, watered down as hell. Again, it didn't even feel like a horror movie. Nothing about it was a horror movie. It was just stupid and bad. And the secret society crap, that made it worse. That made it suck even more. Like, really, why would Leatherface work with a secret society, government, whatever? That doesn't make any damn sense. Leatherface is like mentally challenged, so I don't think anybody could get him to work with a secret society. He wouldn't do it. He'd probably chainsaw their heads off. He wouldn't understand. And what else bothered me about it? Leatherface was in the movie just screaming like an idiot for most of the movie. He was a bad Leatherface, not terrifying, not good at it. I stand by it. All the other sequels are better than this movie. The Next Generation sucked. All the other sequels. The remake in 2003 was good. I enjoyed it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, I enjoyed. I think Jordana Brewster's in that. I'm a fan of her. Then we had Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, or there's been a lot of them. The beginning, 3D. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's supposed to be the sequel released on Netflix. That was okay. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was okay. The one on Netflix. Some hated it, I guess, but I didn't think it was bad. Not as bad as The Next Generation. So, they bring up references to the Illuminati are made in the movie, which was just stupid as hell. Darla tells Jenny at one point about a thousands-year-old secret society is controlling the U.S. government. And they assassinated Kennedy. Okay, whatever. So then they found Leatherface in his house somehow, and he started working with them. Yeah, right. That's not believable. That's not horror. That's stupid. That's horrible. And then at one point in the movie, Leatherface picked up one of the women, teenagers, put her on a meat hook. They did that in the fucking original, and you're just copying the original. That was stupid. That pissed me off. Put her on a meat hook. They did that already in the original, but you had to copy the original. It's parts of it. This movie more was like it was not, I think it's called horror suspense. Well, nothing about it was horror or suspenseful. It was just a bad movie. It was like a joke. Some parts in it were like a comedy. It was dumb. It was bad. Oh my God. So let's see what else. This was so bad, man. Let's see what else I can find out about it. Yeah, so depictions of Leatherface in the Next Generation were shit. I didn't like it. I didn't like the actor, how he played him. I didn't like how they had him screaming. 90% of the movie is screaming. He was not terrifying. He was not a fucking horror legendary character like Leatherface. He was a joke. At least in part 2, he was terrifying at some scenes. I mean, the guy that played him in part 2 was pretty damn good, I thought. He played him different, but he's still terrifying. Part 1, of course, the original, Gunnar Hansen was the best. The guy that played him in part 2 was very good. Part 3, I don't care who played him. It was not good. But the Next Generation Leatherface was shit. So critics of the movie said Leatherface was, for some reason, Leatherface was cross-dressing, which briefly explored the original film. I don't remember that, but just because in the original maybe wore a woman's mask or his mother's mask. her face. I don't remember really. I haven't seen the original in a couple years. God, it was bad. So, according to the director, the character Leatherface was confused sexually. He was his character is complex and horrifying. No, he wasn't horrifying. He was nothing. I felt nothing when I saw Leatherface in this movie, and that's sad. I'm a fan of Leatherface. I'm a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. But this Leatherface sucked. Probably the worst of them all. And I like Texas Chainsaw 3D because Alexandria Daddario's in that. I hope I said her name right, but you know who she is. She's great. Whatever she's in, I'll watch. So the casting. Renee Zellweger was unknown. Texas-based actress and recent college graduate. She got the lead role of Jenny. Renee Zellweger said at the time it's kind of a dark film. You have to take yourself to places you wouldn't like emotionally. I felt bad for her. She had to go through all that shit, trying to be tortured and having her face grabbed in the movie. I felt bad for her. She had to go through a lot of shit. And Matthew McConaughey got cast. He was recently completed Dazed and Confused in 93. So, Robert Jack was a local radio host and singer. And he was cast as the role of Leatherface. He was shit. He was horrible. So, let's see if... legal disputes. Let's read that. So according to this, the internet, not the documentary about part 4, The Next Generation, said is only in 10 theaters, but according to the internet, it was put in 20 cities. 23 theaters. And cities in August of 97 for some reason. So, yeah, then there's a lawsuit filed in a state court against the film stars Matthew McConaughey and his management company. The lawsuit alleges McConaughey and CAA had interfered in Columbia TriStar's distribution agreement, pressuring the studio to limit its release. I don't blame him. He looked like an idiot in the movie and just a maniac fool. The role was stupid. If I was him, I wouldn't really want to take that role. It was a nothing role. But he wanted to be in a movie, I guess. So McConaughey, in a 1996 interview, denied that he ever wished to get the film to not be seen. He denies that. He's not embarrassed by it at all. He said it was fun and honest work. At the time, he was trying to figure out how feature films are made. It was back when we were working 15 hours a day for $300 a week. And he said he wouldn't trade that experience. But then TriStar had to delay the film's release. Delay the film's release over Jerry Maguire coming out. They wanted to wait until, I said this earlier, they were waiting until Jerry Maguire was released, or Renee Zellweger's new film. And it was a decision made by the director and this agreed by the studio, but it backfired. It was stupid. So, 1995, the film saw its first home video release. And it was on Laserdisc. Released in Japan under the original The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre title. The producer claimed they had 10,000 VHS tapes produced of the film for video store rentals and sales, but the release of those were aborted following Columbia TriStar's acquisition of the film and re-edit and title change. Columbia TriStar Home Video released the film on VHS in September 98. Good God, 3 years later, 3 years after it was made. And DVD release in July 99. And God, I wonder how many rentals or how many goddamn people rented that movie. Probably nobody rented Texas Chainsaw The Next Generation. I bet it barely, I'm sure it didn't make a profit. So whoever I don't know who, but if anybody, any horror fans, any Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans, if anybody thinks The Next Generation is a cult classic, that's what I think of you. You're idiots. It's not. It sucks. I will always say that. I will always think that. I will always stand by it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation fucking sucked. And I'm pissed I watched it for the first time yesterday. I saw little bitty clips before of it, but I never watched the whole thing. I didn't know the whole plot or anything until I watched it, and I'm angry at myself. I wasted an hour and a half watching it when I could have done something else better. But it's on AMC Plus if you want to watch it. It sucks. I'm not a fan of low budget, shitty looking movies, B movies, Z movies, whatever. I'm not a fan of those type of movies. I don't even bother watching them. And this is just bad. So, for some reason, Joe Bob Briggs was a vocal supporter of the movie. For some reason, I don't know why. I thought it sucked. I like Joe Bob, but I thought it sucked. Good God, God, people are stupid. And according to the internet, years since its original release, the film has gone on to develop a cult following. Why? It sucks. Nothing good about it. Except Marilyn Burns appearing in a cameo and Renee Zellweger trying very hard. She did try hard, I will say. It was the shit. It was the absolute shit. If I give it a star rating, 1 to 5 stars, it gets a minus. Minus 1 star. That's how bad it is. It doesn't even get 1 star, it gets a minus. Minus stars. That's how bad it was. It was so bad. And God, the end was stupid. Some plane flew down and cut off the brains of Matthew McConaughey's character. Cut into his brain, killed him. And he had a leg that was like a robotic leg, For some reason, I guess he had a fucking injury. He hooked up a robot with his leg to move so he could walk. Robotic leg. That was dumb, because one point Renee Zellweger's character was trying to get away, and they had controllers that kept pressing him, controlling his leg to move. That was just stupid. That was just dumb. Like, oh, he's supposed to be a killer and so frightening, but he's on the floor and he can't get up because you're controlling his leg with a fucking TV remote. That was dumb. But again, this movie, to me, should have never been made. Made no fucking sense. It was a mess. I'm still angry. I wasted an hour and a half watching it, but at least I could do a let's talk about it. Hope you enjoyed this. Let's talk about it. Again, the movie from me. All my movies I've done. Let's talk about all my movies in this playlist, in this series of Let's Talk About all the movies I've talked about or TV shows. I don't think I talked about many TV shows except Ted on Peacock. Ted was great. That was so funny. There is going to be a Ted season 2 coming up. Hopefully in the fall, I think. I don't know when. Also a good show. I could do a Let's Talk About it. Twisted Metal. I enjoyed Twisted Metal. That's coming back for season 2. But yeah, all my other movies I did Let's Talk About shows on. I never gave them a minus review. Minus stars. For Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. This is what I think of it. 2 middle fingers up, because it sucked ass. Bye for now. Like, comment, share, subscribe.